This week on the Brian Murray Show, a look behind some statistics that can be misleading. How are the market numbers? And the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to talk a little bit about voting, not who to vote for, but voting. So, welcome to the Brian Murray Show, a real estate show, New Jersey style. Today's discussion point is really a look at the numbers and information that you're getting out there, and what it really means versus what you think it means. For instance, there are several services that realtors subscribe to that will provide some basic stats or interesting tidbits that they can post on social media. They can use in a presentation. They can just make to look smart or what have you. I do subscribe to some of these services, but I like to look behind what they're actually providing, and I like to kind of say, wait a second, what that may be true, but why is it true? For instance, one I got this week was that 60% of home buyers make at least 2 offers before buying a home, and 37% of home buyers make 3 offers or more before buying a home. Now, on the surface, you might say, "Wow, home buyers are in these really difficult markets where there's low inventory and lots of buyers, and they're in these bidding wars, and hey, basically it's a knife fight to the finish." So I kind of get how you're gonna win some, you're gonna lose some. That's the way it's gonna be. Not every market is like that. Number one, not every market is like that. So that's kind of number one. Number two is, if you're making more than one offer on a home, or an offer on more than one home, so a couple of things could be happening. One is you're lowballing, and there are no other offers. The seller's just not willing to take your bid because it's just too low for them, and maybe too low for the market. But you're trying to come in and get a deal, and they just don't want to deal with you. Number two, you might be in a multiple bid situation, and that kind of branches off into a couple of different areas. One is, it really might just be as simple as you're kind of playing in a pond that's too deep for you, and that there are other much more qualified buyers who want the property more. So they're willing to pay more, they're willing to give better terms, and that could be the case. Often the case is you are represented by an inferior agent, one that is not giving you the best advice on how to get a home in a bidding war. They're not putting you in the best position. They're not connected to the market, to the other agents on the other side, so that they bring gravitas to the situation, so that their word is gold. But more importantly, they're not giving you the kind of information to say, hey, pushing back on your low bid or your bid where there's 5 other offers, to say, look, this probably isn't going to get it done. If you want to get it done with a confidence interval, you're going to need to be here or there. And it's possible that the buyer is not taking that advice because maybe they don't trust the agent, or maybe sometimes they think they know better. But 60% of home buyers, and once you get to the 37% that are bidding on 3 or more homes, I can almost assuredly tell you that either they're just lowballers or their agent isn't doing their job. I personally, I don't think that I've ever been in a situation with a buyer where it's taken 3 homes, 3 offers to win a home, to get a home. It's like, hey, if you lose a bidding war, and you were in too deep of a pond, just know it. If you lose 2 bidding wars, either you got to get out into some shallow water, or more likely you have to start listening to your agent. So that's today's discussion point, a look behind some of the information that's out there, to look at it in just a little bit of a different way. If you want to talk more about any particular points that you see out there that it's like, hey, what does that really mean? Reach out to me. I'll tell you what it really means and not what they're telling you it means. Today's hot topic, how's the market? Today is October 13th, 2020, and the hot topic of how's the market in Hoboken in downtown Jersey City. It is the hot topic every week because the market is changing week to week to week. I've only been doing this 18 years, and this is literally the first time where there is such a dramatic change from week to week to week, and in a market that is very unpredictable, that we really need to track this on a weekly basis. Monthly reports mean nothing, quarterly reports mean nothing, and as you know, yearly reports mean nothing. We tried to predict a year ago what was going to happen. I think only a few people might have gotten that right, like the number of people that win the and pick all the right teams in the NCAA basketball tournament, which is none. So, how's the market? Let's take a look inside the numbers. So for Hoboken, actives are 371 condos. In the last 7 days, there have been 36 new condos on the market and 166 in the last 30 days. Let's just stop there and look at that. So literally only about 10% of the market has come on in the last week, and we're typically in Hoboken, we're looking at about 50% coming on every 30 days. So the amount of homes that have come on the market has definitely slowed over, when you're taking that rolling 30 days average as a percentage, as well as the total number of homes on the market has dipped a little bit from in the 380s to now about 370. So, overall the inventory is, if you look at the number of contracts, there were 81 in the last 30 days. So that's still about 4.5 months worth of inventory, give or take, which is borderline neutral market. Days on market of those 81 condos were 32 days. And let's just stop there for a second and say, hey, look, here at October 13th, 32 days average on market. So if you put your home on the market today and it takes 32 days, you are pushing right up against the holidays. You're pushing right up against Thanksgiving. You're pushing right up against Thanksgiving to the new year to the winter. So if it was an average amount of time you put your home on the market today, you are looking at squeaking it out right before Thanksgiving, or it's going to be a long winter. Solds over the last 30 days in Hoboken were 72, and the percent discount, there was a 2.2% discount from the list price to the actual sale price. In Jersey City, there are 324 condos on the market today. That's 51 new in the last 7 days, including at least 8 new construction, and 140 over the last 30 days, including, over 35 new construction condos there. And by new construction, I mean big buildings like 99 Hudson Street, where there are actually hidden hundreds of units behind the ones that they're putting on the market. But just so you know that new construction is starting to take up about 10% of those active listings, but it's really not 10%. It's probably more like double the amount of active listings that are out there are these new construction buildings that aren't being sold. So the actives in the last 30 days was 140. Under contracts was 64. So if you look at that, that's about 5.5 months of inventory, a little under 5.5 months. Very much a neutral market now in Jersey City. And the days on the market for those 64 that went under contract is 43. So if you're in Jersey City and you put your home on the market today, and your average, you are right up against Thanksgiving. I mean, when I say Hoboken was, you're like at Thanksgiving. You're like, hey, turkey's tomorrow. I'm making a pie tonight. My home went under contract. That's how close you're cutting it. The number of solds in the last 30 days were only 40, but again, that's a 2-month lag, kind of expecting that. And the percentage discount is about 2.5%. So that's how's the market in Hoboken and Jersey City. If you're looking for something a little more detailed, like a segment, 2-bedroom, 2-bath elevated parking, or something waterfront versus not waterfront, please reach out to me and I can look really behind the numbers and dig down into something that's really a lot more important to you than just an overall macro view of the market. the good, the bad, the ugly. Voting special. Here we are, middle of October. Elections are not that far away. So, the good, the bad, the ugly, voting special. Number one, the good. It's really great to see that social media can be used for good versus evil. And especially with some of the younger kids, the teens, the tweens out there, that, they're really promoting getting out and voting. Even if you're a teen or a tween and you can't yet vote, just the excitement that you bring to the table of, hey, one day you will be able to vote. And that it's important that you do vote and to get your voice heard. Often it's the younger folks, the teenage, late teens, the early 20 folks that are not really involved in politics. They might vote for president, but they're not really involved in politics. It's great. Get out there and vote and know your local issues, because those are the ones that are really most important for your life. The bad is that I'm frustrated here in New Jersey that the polls are actually closed and that I can't take my kids to vote with me. They are young teens now, but ever since they were small kids, that was always a ritual. Every voting day, we'd go there and we'd vote. Especially when there's a presidential election, we would, enjoy our candidate, and oftentimes the House was split, and who they wanted, and the kids and the adults, or the half of the adults, half the kids. But a fun time going to the polls. So the bad is that here in New Jersey, that kind of thing has been ripped away from us, and hopefully in the future that we can recapture that. And the next time there's a presidential election, my kids will actually be old enough to vote, so that'll be a whole different kind of special experience. And then the ugly is that in Hoboken, there was definitely this whole undercurrent of vote by mail for decades that I've been here. The underlying seediness of vote by mail and the buying of votes that really came to the forefront when Frank Rea actually went to jail this past pre-COVID for a vote by mail fraud. For decades it's been going on, and he finally went to jail just this past winter time. Spent a whole couple of weeks there for all the votes that he bought. And the thing that's really ugly about it is, passing by the Hopes building on 3rd and Garden Street, which is a big pre-K provider in Hoboken. There's his name, Frank Rea Annex, right on the building still. He's still on the board of directors there, and his name is still on the building, and yet he spent time in jail this year for voter fraud. What is the irony in all of that? I wonder. So I'd like to leave you with a little inspirational quote. It's been attributed to Mark Twain, but I don't know if it is really true, but here it is for you. So if voting made any difference, they wouldn't let us do it. And isn't that really the truth? So this has been The Brian Murray Show. Thank you so much for watching. As always, all episodes of The Brian Murray Show can be found on the Murray Property Group website under the blog section. You can find me on social media. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn. And please do comment. Give me some likes. Give me some shout outs. Do appreciate that. And if there's anything that you disagree with in the show, please reach out to me directly and I'll show you why you're wrong.